Maturity really means being very unsurprised by and calm around pain and disappointment. Insane people are always sure that they are fine. It is only the sane people who are willing to admit that they are crazy. This is the very perfection of a man, to find out his own imperfections. Do something that doesn't feel good now, to feel good later. Wise men don't need to prove their point. Men who need to prove their point aren't wise. Maturity is having the courage to use one's own intelligence. Maturity is the ability to reap without apology and not complain when things don't go well. When you care for others, you manifest an inner strength despite any difficulties you face. Your own problems will seem less significant and bothersome to you. Reaching beyond your own problems and taking care of others, you gain confidence, courage, and a greater sense of calm. Maturity, the way I understand it, is knowing what your limitations are. I live in that solitude, which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. As I grow older, I pay less attention to what men say. I just watch what they do. 'Tis easier to suppress the first desire than to satisfy all that follow it. Teach this triple truth to all: a generous heart, kind speech, and a life of service and compassion are the things which renew humanity. To make mistakes is human. To stumble is commonplace. To be able to laugh at yourself is maturity. When I was 10, I read fairy tales in secret and would have been ashamed if I had been found doing so. Now that I am 50, I read them openly. When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and the desire to be very grown up. The most dangerous thing you can do is to take any one impulse of your own nature and set it up as the thing you ought to follow at all costs. It is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of high maturity to rise to the level of self-criticism. Mature people don't try to steer the river, they steer themselves. Maturity is perseverance the ability to sweat out a project or a situation in spite of heavy opposition and discouraging setbacks, and stick with it until it is finished. The value of a man is not measured by his money, his status, or his possessions. The value of a man lies in his personality, wisdom, creativity, courage, independence, and maturity. Sometimes, problems don't require a solution to solve them. Instead, they require maturity to outgrow them. Be the person you are. Never try to be another, and you will become mature. Maturity is accepting the responsibility of being oneself, whatsoever the cost. The most useful person in the world today is the man or woman who knows how to get along with other people. The older you get, the more you realize it's less about what you want and more about what you're willing to give up. Maturity is reached the day we don't need to be lied to about anything